let's talk about catfishing. So that might sound like a really weird thing to say, but hear me out. I'm going to teach you today how to use catfishing as a way for you to manifest whatever it is that you want. So if you want to find out how to do it, then stay tuned. What's up, my friend? Welcome back to another video. My name is Jen. I'm a holistic manifestation coach, and this is my YouTube channel where I do Ask a Coach every single week. I'm always here to answer some of your questions about mindset and manifestation, and ultimately we are all here to grow together and to learn how to create a really extraordinary life. So if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So as I said at the top, today we are talking about catfishing. So I think everybody knows what catfishing is, but just to recap, in case you have no idea what I'm talking about, catfishing is a term that the internet uses for, I've seen it mostly with like dating profiles, where somebody will create like a fake profile on Tinder and to pretend to be this like hot young girl when actually they're like an older middle-aged man. Something like that. It's like basically putting on a different persona, presenting yourself as a certain way online. Honestly, I don't know why people would actually catfish, but I thought it might be an interesting idea for somebody like me and for somebody probably like you that has never considered doing this before. Because I'm not suggesting that you go out there and catfish somebody or pretend to be somebody you're not, especially in a dating circumstance. Like, that is truly boggling to me. Like, if you think you have to lie to get someone's attention, obviously they're going to figure out who you are in real life. So why would you even use that? And I'm talking to you, all you people using profile photos from 10 years ago, FYI. But to get back to the point, we can use this idea of catfishing as a way for us to tap into the person who we want to be, okay? So I want you to start thinking about that. That is the part that we are going to use, not the deception, not the manipulation, the using this as a pathway to get us closer to the things that we want. So if you've been on this channel for a while, you know that I am all about teaching you different ways to think about manifestations, but also really teaching you that it ultimately comes from inside us. As I always say, it starts on the inside first. The changes start on the inside first. So your self-worth and your identity are usually two of the things that are holding you back from whatever it is that you're manifesting. You maybe subconsciously don't believe that you can really have the relationship that you want. Or maybe subconsciously you don't really think that having money, having access to easy money is possible for someone like you, whatever like you means. These are the things that I teach how to heal inside my Recode Manifestation program. This is a really holistic way to look at your manifestations. It is a lot of work on our mindset and our mental trauma and our shadow and stuff like that. Like, all of the things that are really holding you back, again, are inside of you. So as I just mentioned, identity is one of those things. And identity is one of the first things that kids really learn how to have. And like, it's not something you were born with. Like, you didn't pop out knowing who you are as a person in the world. It's something that you seemed to learn, but actually what really happened is that you created it. You created your ego persona. You created this identity that you are walking around in the world wearing. Most of us are wearing an ego identity that not only does not reflect our true capabilities as the infinitely magical spiritual creature that you really are, and that means that most of us are choosing our limitations in one way or another. And that is where the catfishing game can come into play. I talk a lot about the concept of future self, and that is really about thinking not only about the things that you want in life, but about the person you will be. And this is like the secret sauce to so much of manifestation. It's not just about getting money or getting the relationship or getting the right apartment or whatever it is. It is about you deeply transforming from the inside out so that you become that person, and then those things are just part of your reality. And the problem with this is that it means we have to give up thinking about who we are right now, and that is a tough thing for most of us to really get our minds around. Like, it is one thing for you to sit here and watch this video with me and think, oh yeah, I need to think about myself in a brand new way. It is a completely different story for you to actually start to move through your life holding those new beliefs about yourself. You are going to 99% of the time default back to the patterns and the thoughts and beliefs that you have had about yourself for 20, 30, 40, whatever many years. This is why thinking about catfishing your way can start to be an interesting process to speed this along. So I've never catfished somebody, and I just find this such an interesting thing to think about, and you are probably similar to me. So let's kind of start to walk through this. So when somebody is catfishing somebody online, in the extreme cases, it is somebody sitting around and thinking like, I'm going to invent this persona. I'm going to become this person. I'm going to usually be this hot young girl when they are definitely not, or whatever it is. I'm going to invent this whole story. I'm going to breathe life into this, give it a name, and start to show up online as embodying this character. And of course, there are all kinds of horror stories out there how this has happened, like how I've been messaging this person for months and months, and then I met them and they were completely not the right person, etc., etc. So of course, that's not what we're doing here, but I want you to start to think about this if you were catfishing yourself into the person you want to be. So think about your goal, think about the money, the relationship, whatever it is that you are after, and start to think about that person. And start to think like, if I were catfishing somebody online, how would I be presenting myself? So maybe you want to journal on this, or maybe just take some notes. But if you can really step into that character a bit more, because it's a character right now, it's a vision in your head, it's not actually you. But the more you can start to connect with that, and the more you can start to breathe life into it, the more that is actually going to become who you really are, and not just a character that you are thinking about. So just journal on this for a little while. If you were catfishing yourself into being your future self, how would you be presenting yourself? How would you be showing up online? How would you be, like, what photos are you putting out there? Go through all the things. Think about all the things that come up for you and journal on that. And then the trick is, of course, to start to implement that. So I don't mean going to your friends and telling them that you are a millionaire when you are not. But you can shift your language, you can shift your attitude, you can shift the way you present yourself to the world in a lot of ways that are going to align yourself with this person. In the beginning, this might feel weird. It might feel strange to portray yourself like this, right? So this is why the catfishing idea comes in handy, because I'm kind of just giving you permission right now to lean into the fakeness, lean into the pretend, lean into the imagination portion. It's not about lying and misrepresenting yourself to people, but this is about you just becoming comfortable putting on that coat, putting on that persona, putting on that different version of you. And remember, again, your ego persona, your identity that you have right now, that's not actually real either. Those are just a collection of beliefs that you opted into, usually as a child, that are optional. They do not have to be you. So why not choose these other sets of beliefs about you instead? The catfishing game can feel uncomfortable. It can feel like you are playing make-believe or pretend, or like you're going to maybe have imposter syndrome about it. You can kind of wade in slowly. You can take one step at a time. You can think about when you're writing your Instagram posts or putting something up on Facebook. Don't default back into the complaining, victim blaming mindset, or wherever you've been, whatever the mindset that you used to have. When you start to just challenge yourself to think, if I was this person, if I am that person right now and I'm showing up as that person online in real life, what would I be putting out there? I guarantee it's probably not complaining about how the bus was late or whatever happened to you this morning. I guarantee that that version of you is doing something ever so slightly differently than you are now. Maybe it is when you run into a friend that you haven't seen in a while, which obviously is happening a lot right now after Corona, and they ask you, how's your job going? How's your relationship going? How is whatever going? And your old persona automatic response would be like, oh, it's okay. It's all right. I guess it's fine. Is that what your catfishing person would say? Is that how your future self would show up? Is that how that person who has it all already would portray themselves in conversation? These are the tiny little ways that we keep reaffirming exactly where we are with our current day problems and forget that we are the ones in control. If you can remember the catfishing game, I'm hoping that will give you permission to move beyond your automatic responses. I mean, we are all just creatures of habit, and the biggest habit, the most important habit that you will ever need to break is the habit of being you. Thank you, Dr. Joe Dispenza, for that one. But it's honestly true. Like your habitual thoughts have created your results right now. And the whole trick to this whole game, which I keep talking about in every video, is getting out of that habitual way of thinking and that habitual way of talking and that habitual way of acting in the world and getting into something new. Perhaps the catfishing game is going to be the thing that finally gives you permission to do that. Something has to give you permission to do that. I know that most of us are waiting for someone else to tell us it's okay, but you don't need to wait for permission. You can give yourself permission. Just play with this game and start to lean into the new persona. Start to show up as that person who is already there, and just wait to see how quickly things are going to change for you. So I think that's a really fun game that all of us can start playing. And if you do take this advice and you do play the catfish game, I would love it if you would come back and let me know how it went for you. If you enjoyed this video today, please go ahead and give me a like. If you want to learn more about how to manifest holistically, come join me inside Recode. It is only $22 a month, and I'm giving you all the tools to create your extraordinary life in there. Other than that, I'll be back here in next week's video. So until then, I'm wishing you happy manifestations, happy catfishing with caution, and I will see you very soon.